Immortal Gates of. I never knew how to pronounce that. I don't know if it's Pyre, 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 Pi. I said this once and I'm gonna say it again. We need more real-time strategy games on console. We need it. I'm talking about real deal RTS games. I know they flourish a lot on PC. PC is where they really live at. But I really wish they would bring more to console. So this looks like it would be up my alley. I like strategy games. I've always been a fan of Halo Wars, and Halo Wars 2 I think is a very slept on strategy game and just game overall. But yeah, I think, what was the other one? Was it Spellbound that I played? Haven't played in a while. But yeah, I with some strategy games as long as it's good. You know what I mean? So it would be nice if this is coming to console, but it's wishful thinking.
So Immortal Gates of Pyre is an attempt to modernize and make more accessible the RTS genre while simultaneously keeping all of the complexity and the opportunities for mastery that have made RTS so popular over the years. So it's I would refer to it as a Blizzard-style RTS, the fast action, big battles, very tactical.
That's what I'm getting.
Kind of very
immediately looked like
we realized
StarCraft.
That RTS, in part because it was dominated by a few big players, never really went through the kind of indie transformational experimentation. Some of the companies that tried to do so did so by stripping away features or losing some of the things that really made RTS great. In the early days, we surveyed a lot of players in both MOBA and RTS communities and found that they really loved the fantasy of commanding an army. RTS, at the end of the day, if you were to strip it all away, is just you're commanding an army, another guy's commanding an army in real time.
Yeah.
Right? Because you get individual unit control, it can be very overwhelming. And because you're also building those units, because you're building a base, because you're having to do so much macroing along with the microing simultaneously, that for most players, it just gets overwhelming and complicated. And so we worked through it kind of line by line, trying to figure out what are the rote tasks, what are the things that players are required to do that are not really decisions, that are more just chores, right? And how do we make more and more of the complexity in the game, but optional, opt-in? We refer to it as opt-in complexity. And then simultaneously, how do we create a world?
I really hope this comes to console.
That people want to be a part of. We want
I would definitely
take this genre and show people this genre isn't
definitely
dead. People
fuck with this game.
Fantasy, they want this experience. A lot of it has to do with things like the UI and the UX.
Might be a learning curve. Looks like a lot to learn and stuff, but
so, for example,
I'd be open to it.
Have to be building workers. If you're not building workers, you're falling behind on your economy and you're screwed. The correct move, with very few exceptions, is to build a worker every chance you get. So we made that automated, but have a toggle. If you want it turned off, you can. So if you're trying to do a specific timing attack, you can, but we took that complexity away. One of the other things is how in MOBAs you have a unified command card, right? All of the abilities and castable abilities on your hero are easy to reach. You can hit all of those buttons very quickly on one hand. We redesigned the UI UX to be the same way. So you can select your whole army with one button by default, and then all of the castable abilities of your army,
to me sounds like controller support.
One of the things that
which hopefully means console.
Our game, it looks like an RTS, but when they play it, it almost plays more like a MOBA in terms of how they're commanding their army. Our early idea was if we bring the top, 10 modders within generally the strategy gaming space, if we bring them all together and we say, if we were to come together and build a game that truly is the next generation of RTS, what does it look like? And that's what we set out to do. The 1v1 or 2v2 PvP experiences, they're similar to a StarCraft or a StarCraft 2. You know, maps. We did redesign the maps.
We need that. I've been asking for StarCraft
2v2 is actually
for a minute,
really
bro.
fun. It's a core support gameplay
StarCraft
mode,
would be fire on here too. I don't know why Xbox didn't do that, since they own all that shit now.
But the ultimate
Or
goal
Microsoft
is to destroy the enemy's
still
town
the same
centers,
shit.
and so it's kind of a
I don't know
tactical
what
back
they
and
doing.
forth with counters and strategic snipings and using immortal abilities in clever ways. So it's great for mastery and laddering and skill gain. Ultimately, or at least the goal, is to have other PvP modes that are more casual or more playful, kind of some chaos modes, auto battler modes, things like that, where if you just have 10 minutes and you want to have a beer while doing it, and you want to do something that's a bit strategic, but you don't want to get that sweaty, we want to have those experiences too. That's
like
a
that.
big part of the target market that
I
we're
like
looking
that they
at,
thought
is
about
people
that.
like to be challenged mentally, but don't necessarily want to try to do the crazy APM and don't want to get too invested in the competition. We want to do a full grand campaign. The inspiration for how we kind of want, or how we see the ideal campaign, if we can build it, is very similar to Dark Crusade. It's a grand campaign. You can be kind of any of these different factions and conquering territory and building new and unique stories.
Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, I need that. I really hope that comes to console. I need that. That's a day one for me. Cause I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if I've like fully really conquered a real deal RTS game. I'm gonna be honest. Halo Wars 2 was like the last one I really was into. But as far as like this type of shit, like to me this is more of like a step up as far as like complexity, because there's more stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? I think there's a little more micromanaging in these type of RTS games versus Halo Wars. So, like managing workers and things like that. I did play Age of Empires, but and Age of Mythology, the last one that came out, and I like those games, but I didn't really master them. I played them for a little bit, and then I stopped. I want to have a good strategy game that's fun, that can keep me locked in, that I could really want to take the time to master. You know what I mean? And that looks like it could be one of the ones. So hopefully I can get my hands on that.